Social misfits, clueless to the title of the biggest buskeg hits. Chuck Munchie's goons have the last say, so thanks for your time, Mr. Mayo. Danger likes his cold ones and he likes his bears. But this is Rochester, cute Francesa.
Oh, who cares?
He's critical of Sean, he's critical of Alan. Of course he married Sandy, cause she's Italian. Welcome to the sports bar, that's where you are. Welcome to the sports bar, that's where you are. Welcome to the sports bar, that's where you are. With Danger and Battaglia.
I don't even know if we should get comfortable. I don't think we should. I think we should just come in, do the quick heavy lift, and then go on with our afternoon and our evening and enjoy tonight's game as we welcome you in to the abbreviated sports bar with Danger and Battaglia. We've dubbed it the heavy lift show, a 1-hour episode today.
It wouldn't have made much sense to go to Infinity Sports Network, but then the Bills Radio Network takes over at 4 o'clock. So, yeah, we can cram everything down to 1 hour here today. I'm just surprised you don't have a cold one in your hands today, bud. Don't give Danger a reason. Did anybody leave them for you?
Let's see. Okay, so since you brought it up, pal. All right. Never have to give me a reason to enjoy a cold one. The pre-game is what we're doing here. The pre-game
Yes.
in the sports bar with Danger and Battaglia. We're welcoming your calls at 866-4326 if you'd like to pull up a stool. The number again is 585-866-4FAN. Thanks for checking us out in the Odyssey app, on our YouTube channel at The Fan Rochester. Like and subscribe while you're there. We're also streaming on Twitch. I mean, I might as well have a cold one. I feel like it's all I've been doing for the last 48 hours plus. I mean, this weekend was exquisite.
So what is it like for Bills fans who don't know? What is it like when your team wins in London? Then you get the rest of your Sunday to just enjoy. What is that like?
I mean, if we want to backpedal here a little bit, Saturday, I know you were working Saturday because you don't stop. You're the hardest working man in media.
That's not true, but
you were working on Saturday.
Hopefully you were listening to that exciting 52-6 Saturday afternoon game here on the Fan Rochester.
That was a big win for St. John Fisher.
Yeah.
The weather was perfect. I mean, it was like a perfect fall day. And man, I tell you, I started enjoying myself and the weather and everything that came with it. You know, knowing what's ahead of us, like, let's absorb as much of this as we can. I took full advantage of the day on Saturday, woke up early on Sunday. I got to thank my buddy Joe, who hosted me and my other Bear fan friend, Tony, at his house, Joe and Victoria. Victoria made the buffalo chicken wing dip, which was exceptional. Joe, taunting us by wearing his throwback Maurice Jones-Drew jersey. And his friend Bill, who's actually also a Jags fan. Mm-hmm. And we were watching the game at Joe's house and just eating breakfast pizza and donuts and drinking Bloody Marys and whatever Joe was. It was fantastic. And to answer your question, the Bears and a lot of teams in the NFL doing what they should do when you just bully a bad team. The Jags are a bad team. The Jets are a bad team. The Bills should bully the Jets. Just like they bullied the Dolphins a few weeks ago, they're a bad team. They should bully the Jets tonight. That's what should happen. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but that's what should happen. Now, in this division, in the NFC North is on a historic pace. Like, this is the first time since realignment that at this stage of the season through 6 weeks, you have 4 teams with at least 4 wins. That's never happened before.
No. It'll course correct, I'm sure, and part of that is like a lot of these teams will start playing one another. But the AFC East ain't that dangerous. The AFC East is for Buffalo tonight. If you find a way to get this done tonight, style points don't matter. Look ahead. The Titans? The Seahawks doesn't look as daunting. The Dolphins, please. The Colts. Like, at minimum, there should be 3 of the next 4 games you would put as W's up on the board, which still would put you in first place of the division, regardless of what the Jets do. That's only if you win tonight. So, winning tonight, you get to the Chiefs still in a position where you would be in the division. It'd be hard to imagine a scenario, barring injury, that would not look like that.
I have a hard time seeing this team, coached by Sean McDermott, led by Josh Allen, dropping 3 straight. In fact, Josh Allen has never dropped 3 straight games. So for me, it's got to be a comeback to reality here for the Buffalo Bills, and a recognition, a awakening of who you are. You are the defending champs in the division. For the Jets, everybody wants to say this is a must-win for the Jets. They have to win this game. They have to win this game. Now, the line keeps moving in the Jets' favor, even though over the weekend we heard that Shakir and Cook were at least limited in Saturday's session. They're questionable tonight.
Yeah, they're officially game time decisions. We won't know. Well, I guess we'll learn that at 6:45 tonight, whether they're going to be dressing or not.
Taron Johnson's first action since week 1 defensively. We'll likely see him on the field tonight, or at least I believe we'll see him on the field tonight. But the line keeps moving in favor of the Jets. What is that saying to you, Gene? What does that mean?
That just means that Jet fans are getting excited about this. That's all that means. That, hey, it's a really exciting time right now in New York sports. It really is. We'll get to like baseball and a few thoughts on that. You are excited about tonight if you're a Jet fan through everything that's going on, and people are putting stock, as they should, that you have interim coaches with a winning record since the year 2010 when something like this happens. 15-13, knowing that more often than not, the rosters are way worse than what the Jets are. The Jets, I do believe, particularly in defense, have talent. Here's my concern tonight, Andrew. If they figure out to use Braylon Allen a little bit more, the Jets tonight, look out. Because I do think without the Bills having what they need on that defensive line tonight, Ed Oliver not being available, we know he's not out. Braylon Allen is a rookie that for some reason they didn't use enough. He's between the tackles. I think that if the Jets are smart tonight, then you're really not relying on Aaron Rodgers. You're just running your 1-2 punch and more of Braylon Allen. That's the way I would kind of design it up if I'm the new offensive coordinator.
Well, defensively, I think that the Jets can still be problematic. I don't see it being easy tonight for Josh Allen. And you could argue that last Sunday was his worst statistical day as a pro. I don't believe we'll get another stinker out of 17. It's always been about decision-making with Allen. Because when you look around the NFL now and you see how the position of quarterback has evolved, and the best quarterbacks in the league are those dual threats. Hell, Joe Burrow last night ripping off a 40-plus yard run. I mean, you have to have that. It's not special to do what Josh Allen does anymore. What makes him special is he could do what he does, and he makes the right decision. So decision-making is going to be everything. I can't shake the image of McDermott week 1 last season, screaming to Allen to play smart. Remember that? Like he was, McDermott was like, play smart. He was getting frustrated with his quarterback. Look for more success here between the numbers. I think that's where the Bills have been more efficient. If you start to see Allen throwing outside the numbers again, it's like, okay, what are we doing, guys? This is not where you're going to make hay offensively. And as far as Braylon Allen and the Jets offense, look, they might need to lean on a guy like that because I don't think there's much left at all in the tank for Aaron Rodgers. I think he's hurt. I think his protection is poor. And now his buddy isn't calling plays anymore. It feels like the Jets have wasted some of the prime years of Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson. These are 2 players we haven't talked about yet. Like, they're very good. When you look at the talent on that roster, and that's part of why you would look at that roster and be like, on paper, that's a more talented roster than the Buffalo Bills. We've said it all offseason. And I don't think you can really argue that. But you're wasting these years of Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson with a line that can't block and a quarterback who's just not accurate anymore. Do you remember the last time Aaron Rodgers played the Buffalo Bills? It was in Buffalo. It was the Green Bay. I mean, when he played a whole game. He played the Bills.
Oh.
That Green Bay game.
The Green Bay game. And Vaughn, trash talked him. I remember, hey, are you going to throw here tonight? Like it was kind of strange how they were really committed to the run to the point where, okay, it's 3rd and long and you're still running. It was an ugly Bills win, and I think it was so ugly that sent the Bills down a bad path.
They
there.
won it, but they let up in the second half.
Yes.
Like they were in control, and they let them back in the second half. But I remember that game as being a game where Aaron Rodgers didn't look impressive there, and the Bills got their turnovers. And I think that's what it's going to happen. I think that's what it's going to come down to. And I think the Bills' defense gets the takeaways. They get the sacks that we expect. I don't think Rodgers is going to be very mobile. I think Allen does enough with his arm and his legs. I believe the Bills win in what I would say is somewhat of a defensive struggle. 2017 tonight is my prediction.
I am picking the Jets to win this by double digits. I don't think it's a game you turn off at halftime, unlike me in the Met game last night. They don't have halftimes in baseball, but 24-13, the Jets win this one. Why do we think all of a sudden what you saw last week is going to all of a sudden reappear, what you saw against Miami and Jacksonville? This is a Jet defense that everybody's going to be sitting up straighter. This is their opportunity. And sure, we may get James Cook out there, but if he's on one foot, and we may get Khalil Shakir out there, but again, if he's on one ankle, how effective are these guys going to be? And we're kind of learning too that Dalton Kincaid, he's like most tight ends in this league. He can make some plays for you, but he's not going to be the bread and butter of this offense. Really, it should be Shakir. I'm not convinced, even if he's out there tonight, it's going to be anything. So to me, Danger, I just think eventually this Bills defense will wear it down tonight, that the Jets will run the ball. Aaron Rodgers will make 3 plays. We'll all come back tomorrow and be like, oh, my gosh, Aaron Rodgers still has it. It's just wonderful, everything else.
You know, this is what I should be saying. I'm the one that should have Stockholm Syndrome. I'm the guy that got beat up by Aaron Rodgers for years and years and years as a Bears fan. Yeah, I can't believe you're there with this guy.
I'm not there. I'm just saying that's on the list of reasons why the Jets win tonight. It's not Aaron Rodgers throwing for 300 yards. That's certainly not it. No, they'll be physical tonight. Can the Bills answer? I'm not sure. It could be just like a 10-7 game at halftime, and it just gets away. But the Bills losing on a Monday night against the Jets, just like they did last year. They lost to Zach Wilson last year, Dane.
I remember that. And there was a graphic last night, and I know you were watching the Mets game, but there was a graphic last night about about the Jets and the Giants and their records in prime time at home. And it's not good. It's ugly. Like, the Jets and the Giants don't play well in primetime games at MetLife Stadium. And I know that the Bills fell last year to Zach Wilson in that game, the sloppy game, week 1. I just don't – I think you have a more composed Josh Allen this year, a more put-together Josh Allen that got over on this defense in Orchard Park the second time these teams meet. I mean, the defense wasn't this – tricky puzzle for him to solve the second time they met.
No, and by that point, the Jet offense was a complete zero. Mm-hmm. Like, they didn't, okay, are we going with Tim Boyle? Are we going with Zach Wilson? They had no answers.
Was that the game that Matt Milano snatched Mike White's soul? It was, wasn't it, last year? Or was it 2 years ago? I think it was last year.
Yeah, it was
just
last year.
Just snatched his soul. And he couldn't reclaim it until he was on the Bills practice squad. There's... I can understand where you're at. Look, the Bills didn't look good for at least a half of football against the Texans, and they certainly didn't look good against the Ravens, a very physical team, and that's probably the key to beating this Bills team is if you can out-physical them. I also think that there's a pretty deep-seated hatred between Deion Dawkins and the Jets that if you're going to see Deion Dawkins really have a game tonight, it's against the Jets. It's Deion versus the world tonight.
Yeah, it was in the tunnel last year, Danger. That was not scary, but that was something that you normally don't see because a lot of these guys talking about his dust-up with Michael Clemens. And we were joined by Dan Leberfeld on Friday, and Michael Clemens might be just kind of the microcosm of how the Jets are dysfunctional. A player who does dumb things on the field but doesn't get sat down. He's not held accountable.
Nobody held him accountable.
Right. So Michael Clemens tonight, can the Bills get under his skin here tonight? Yeah, maybe Deion is going to be the guy that, all right, guys, let's just kind of get it going here. And If it's not James Cook, Ty Johnson, can the Bills lean on it that way? I guarantee it tonight. Like, what would be the more likely scenario for an offensive game plan? Hey, Josh, we're going to let Josh cook. We're going to let him do the thing. I don't know. What you're saying makes sense about Aaron Rodgers and his lack of mobility. And if Sean McDermott has his way, he's going in the offensive playbook, and he's going to be making sure there's running calls. And if we punt, we punt. It's not going to be this sexy game tonight.
Field position game. Ooh, the field position game. The field position battle. Can the Bills win the field position battle?
Supposedly it's going to be windy tonight, too.
Ooh, with the wind. Oh.
Yeah. No, they have one of those warnings about tailgates and tents. And
oh, boy.
Yeah.
One other note about these two teams, not related to tonight's matchup specifically, but Hassan Reddick, who continues his holdout, has hired the services of Drew Rosenhaus. And I believe, did the report say that Rosenhaus was meeting with the Jets as soon as today?
Yeah.
Like, we're moving on this. We're trying to get this done now.
Yeah. Yeah. So, to the wins. This is what MetLife Stadium put out today. Strong wind gusts expected at MetLife Stadium. Please use caution when grilling and securing all items. Avoid setting up tents. If there's one agent that likes to let it be known that they do business,
cut a deal.
It's Drew Rosenhaus. And I remember when you and I were standing on the sidelines official, like, wait a second, that's Drew Rosenhaus.
He was representing Poyer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did a deal get done? No, it didn't. Poyer was a good soldier and played out that 1 year, and now he's down in Miami. Maybe a deal gets done, maybe it doesn't. I would love to know, I'm sure a lot of Jet fans would love to know, wait a second, why did you trade for somebody who you knew wanted a new contract?
It makes no sense.
It makes no sense.
No. Everything sets up, for me, everything sets up with this Jets team as if this offseason is going to be a tear down and rebuild all over again, and the cycle continues. That your GM isn't extended, that your owner, depending on November's election results, might end up the ambassador to the UK again and handing off responsibilities to his son, which might be the best thing for the Jets, because when Woody Johnson is involved, it's been bad. It's been bad as long as he's been involved with the team. So it's all setting up for that, the way I see it. Tonight, I don't see it any differently. I think the Bills should beat up on a bad team. They should bully a bad team, and the Jets are a bad team. However, I'll give the Jets a little bit of credit. I think the Bills do win. They cover. It's a 3-point win, 2017.
I don't think they're that bad a team.
They're a talented team.
They're a talented
but they're a
team.
bad team.
They were poorly coached, and now here's this guy, this former linebacker of the Niners who has worked his way up to defensive coordinator of the interim. This is his audition.
This is Antonio Pierce East is what it is, right?
Yeah.
It's and
yeah,
the Raiders won a couple of games
yeah.
that they probably shouldn't have won, and now you see the Raiders for what they are.
That's all I'm saying. Like, if the Jets win tonight, the world will be on fire for the Bills, and everybody thinks that the Jets are going to be this team. And again, I think it's just winning the battle but not the war here, so to speak. Like, ultimately, where are the Jets going this year with an interim head coach? Good luck to that.
If you're watching the video stream at the Fan Rochester, our YouTube channel, you'll notice that G. Battaglia is decked out head to toe in his Mets gear. Not deterred by the blowout loss in Game 1. It is a 7-game series. There's a lot of baseball left to be played, and I'm very happy to see you in good spirits today.
In good spirits. I thought you were going to say in cosplay or something.
No.
Yeah.
You're in fan gear today. You're ready.
Gear. Okay.
You're ready for tonight's Game 2, and we're hoping for a better outcome for your Mets in Game 2 than we got in Game 1. That was ugly, and you said you turned it off early. I don't blame you.
No, and Flaherty is really good, and I'm just wondering, like, why did would the Tigers have been moving on? Had they held on to that guy? I don't know, but yeah, he was really good for the Dodgers last night. And for the Mets, nothing worked from the get-go. Senga wasn't good. Sean Manaea going on the mound for New York today, and he's a player that I love these stories. Like, yeah, he made the majors, but he didn't find it until this year. So he's 30 years old. So he has been one of the reasons why things have kind of worked in this rotation. The Dodgers going, it looks like, with a bullpen game here tonight. We don't only have that danger, but we got the Yankees tonight.
That's right.
Rodon going against Alex Cobb, Cleveland, New York. I mean, Cleveland's the forgotten team, right? Like, normally we love the underdog because here you have New York, L.A., big market, big market, big market. All three of those teams with payrolls of $300 million plus. Cleveland with just a fraction. Why am I not hearing more let's go Cleveland here, just rooting for the underdog?
Man, this is a team that's flown under the radar all season long. And there were stretches this season where they were the best team in the majors and nobody was talking about them. And I think they like it that way. Major League Baseball wants a Yankees-Dodgers World Series, right? That would be number one.
Subway Series number two.
Subway Series number two. Dodgers. Subway Series 2, and then your Dodgers Guardians or your Mets Guardians would be 3 and 4. Right?
I would say probably Dodgers. Just the show, the star power LA. It's like this feels like a different.
Right.
Since we were on Friday, that was the unexpected. Game 5, like, oh, Padres Dodgers. I'm thinking the Padres with that lineup.
No,
they flicked them away like a bug.
Yeah, and Skubal getting. The Grand Slam on Saturday afternoon is epic. Goes down in Cleveland lore. I mean, that'll be the Thomas Grand Slam will be remembered for generations. Fantastic. So great drama in the NLCS and ALCS ahead. I have Yankee fan friends, Gene, you might appreciate this, who are actually jealous of Met fans. And, your teams are both in the same spot right now. Well, the Yankees haven't played their first game yet, but you're kind of in the, you're both in the championship series, both playing for the pennant. And Yankee fans look at Mets fans with a little bit of jealousy because, if anything, you guys are having a good time with this run. Mets fans are having a blast. And I know you're going to tell me it's always been this way. The Mets have always been more fun than the Yankees, and you've got Grimace, and you've got OMG, and you've got all this fun stuff happening, and the Yankees have always been kind of viewed as like, Goliath with their massive payroll, and they always win. And a Yankee fan friend of mine said it feels like watching the Yankees is like working a corporate job because you're dealing with, performances below expectations, and you're talking this way. It's like, wait a minute. I thought I was trying to escape work to watch my favorite team. Why am I talking about a lack of return on investment here and earnings below depreciation? What are we doing here with the Yankees? And that can all go away, obviously, if the Yankees start winning these games.
Part of the fun thing, and I would just point this out, okay? If it happens organically, you lean in. Like for the Blues, as much as we made fun of them and the Gloria thing, well, that was organic. Like the Grimace thing. Okay, that was something that, well, Mets fans, some of them could be self-loathing. Yankee fans love to point and laugh. All right, you know what? We're going to lean into this. And now we're actually going to make it fun.
Yeah.
And now you can't make fun of this. And the OMG and everything else. They were trying to push it last night. And they also had Pete's Pumpkin. I'm like, no, that doesn't fit. Grimace and OMG, yes. Let's compare this to another team in New York State where it's not going organically. To the Buffalo Sabres. Stop with the hashtag Saberhood.
Oh, that's not going away.
No, I know it's not going away, but who thought this was a good idea? That is not organic. Yeah. Nobody ever said, oh, Saberhood. Yeah. No.
Somebody clever in the PR team came up with the idea of a hashtag, and, oh, that's good. Yeah, let's roll with that.
No, your fan base, once you start winning, your fan base will come up with something.
Well, they did release a little bit of the valve there, the pressure cooker, and they get their first win of the season over the weekend against no less the defending Stanley Cup champions. I would put an asterisk there and say it was the defending Stanley Cup champions without some of their best players, Bobrovsky and Barkov. And, let's not forget, Kachuk wasn't out there. Yeah, their three best players weren't on the ice, but you got over on their B team, and a win is a win. You don't have to apologize for that. They head on the road here shortly. I believe Wednesday is their first of 3 on the road in Pittsburgh.
And you just pulled a McDermott, I believe, Wednesday.
It is Wednesday,
right?
Wednesday,
yeah.
So, yeah, and the Amerks get a split this weekend as well, dropping their home opener and then rebounding with the win on Saturday against Utica. So, and we'll talk tomorrow to Amerks head coach Mike Leone and get the full recap of last weekend's action. We're taking you up to the top of the hour, and the Buffalo Bills Radio Network pregame for tonight's Monday night matchup against the New York Jets is on the way. But before we head out of here in the heavy lift show, we got a round of shots to get to.
Yeah, look, we can get to some of the things in the NFL yesterday that, like, ooh, how are they feeling down in Dallas? Couple things yesterday, including Nick Sirianni.
He's back to being Section 5 Sirianni.
Like, come on.
Section 5 Sirianni, acting like a high school coach out there.
Yeah, we get with those stories and more coming up in shots.
All right, we'll get to that and more next. Plus, we have time for your calls at 866-4326. Pull up a stool, 585-866-4FAN.
update.
Battle for first place in the AFC East tonight, the Bills and the Jets. Eric Wood, color commentator, what he's looking from the offense tonight.
Okay, obviously we have to separate, against man coverage and obvious pass situations, but got to be better on first and second down as well. And Josh has got to steal a few first downs with his legs if teams are going to continue to play man-to-man defense against them.
There is some wind down in the Meadowlands that may play a role in tonight's outcome. We will join the Bills Radio Network coming up at 4 o'clock, and then Eric Wood, Chris Brown, Sal Capaccio will have your call beginning at 8:15 tonight. It is a loaded afternoon in sports. Game 2, Dodgers-Mets, NLCS, LA up 1-0-0. That's coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. Game 1 of the Yankees-Guardians coming up at 7:38. The Amerks split their opening weekend. They're back home Friday night. Gene Battaglin, the sports leader, the Fan, Rochester.
Straight up with no chaser. You're in the sports bar with Danger and Battaglia on the Sports Leader, 95.7 FM and AM 950 The Fan, Rochester.
Lining up a round of shots here in the sports bar. The heavy lift taking you up to 4 o'clock, Buffalo Bills pregame.
Yeah, the statement going out this morning, we look forward to working with the Jets to get this resolved as soon as possible. Hassan would like to be a New York Jet for years to come, and our goal is to make that happen. That's part of the statement from Drew Rosenhaus, who surely will be on camera tonight as he is the new agent for holdout linebacker Hassan Reddick, as that's one of the storylines.
Whole weird thing going on there. And when you hear somebody like Dan Leberfeld, who's covered the NFL, covered this team for as many years as he has, say to us on Friday, I have never seen anything as bizarre as this.
Well, the bizarre thing is this. It's not like Hassan Reddick was represented by quacks. He was represented by CAA.
That's right.
So something shifted, and maybe it was Hassan Reddick realizing, I'll sign off on that. They'll give me the money. Oh, wait. No, they won't. Something happened in the miscommunication between the agency, the Eagles, the Jets. But can I say, though, is Rosenhaus really going to iron out a deal here? The Jets aren't going to pay him? Like, why all of a sudden are the Jets going to open up the checkbook tonight just because Drew Rosenhaus shows up on the scene?
Well, if you're bringing in Rosenhaus, you're going to get a deal done because we know he gets deals done. But I think also you're trying to get to the bottom of why this happened in the first place. I mean, I imagine that he's probably got a pre-existing relationship with Joe Douglas, with Woody Johnson. Like, guys, what happened here? And a deal will get done, and you'll see Reddick on the field. Now, when you see Reddick on the field, I would say temper your expectations. We don't know what kind of shape he's in. We imagine that he's been in shape, but he hasn't been around the team.
Yeah.
He hasn't been around the team. So what kind of a player now, with all this time that's passed, what kind of a player are you actually getting? Are you going to get any sort of value on the return? Again, this whole organization is a dysfunctional mess. Why I have a hard time believing that they can beat the Bills today. I need to see it with my eyes, and I haven't seen it yet this season, save for maybe the Patriots game.
I haven't forgot about week 1 last year. Like, for some reason, we haven't been living dangerously, but I think we're overdue for a couple of, why, Josh? Why that pass? The idea that he hasn't thrown a pick yet this year?
Kind of like that.
Kind of thinking it's not going to continue on and on forever here. The ALCS hasn't been kind of the Yankees since New York's last World Series win, last appearance in 2009. They've gone 0-5 in the ALCS. Carlos Rodon gets the ball in Game 1 tonight. It's going to be Garrett Cole in Game 2, tonight's game of the Bronx. Cleveland's going to send out the veteran, Alex Cobb, 7:38, first pitch on TBS, and Max, and no, Bob Costas will not be on the call.
Oh, my God. That was a conversation I had yesterday while we were watching football. It almost felt like it was their opinion was, the Yankee fan I was talking to, his opinion was that Costas actually was anti-Yankees throughout the course of the series, talking almost as if everybody knows he's got an alignment with the Yankees, the fandom with the Yankees, so he's overcompensating to try and not let that slip out, how much he wanted the Yankees to actually win. Good riddance. I'm just glad. Okay, it's done. We can stop talking about Costas He dropped another name just as I was talking there. we can move on from him, and he can absolutely go away for a while.
The original power rankings are out. What are the original power rankings, Danger? Oh, the AP College Football Poll power rankings. Well, just like any other power ranking now, the AP poll doesn't mean anything, but they're fun to talk about, right? Ohio State, just like their quarterback, they slide down to 4.
Oh,
Hey-o.
Gino.
Hey-o. It's Texas, Oregon, Penn State, Ohio State, Georgia, 6-0 Miami at number 6. 2 teams cracked the top 25. This is going to be fascinating, Danger. Army is at number 23. Also undefeated, Navy at number 25. Army at 6-0. Navy at 5-0. They have not been unbeaten at this point together in a season since 1945. That was just weeks after the end of World War II.
I'm still kind of stunned at how poorly managed the end of the Ohio State game was. That you had a penalty and the clock was running. And I don't think the quarterback realized the clock was running. And then you scramble and you slide. You eat up more time. And you don't get that final timeout taken. And not to take anything away from Oregon. They deserve to be the number 2 team in the country. They're a good team. But that was one for Ohio State. And for Penn State, now the number 3 team, according to these original power rankings, they escaped, man. They escaped. I don't know that they did themselves any favors. They get that USC win in the Coliseum, but man, they could be had as well. That was not, especially in that first half, that was not a great first half of football.
So then if everything goes on, you look at Army's schedule, you could say, wow, they could be undefeated. Is Army-Navy actually a de facto playoff game? The Army-Navy game?
That would be great.
It would be great, but have they played anybody? Like, you're going to be the number 12 seed? And who would be the 4 right now? Well,
a lot of football to be played
State.
Between now and then. A lot of football. I mean, if we've seen anything this year is that we don't know. A good team can rise up or a good team can fall. I mean, after we saw that Alabama-Georgia game a few weeks ago, I'm like, oh, this is as good as it's going to get. This is fantastic. And then Alabama falls on their face the following weekend, almost fall on their face again this weekend. Things change awfully quickly. And, Texas getting what they got this weekend was big for them, taking care of Oklahoma in the Red River rivalry. And Oregon, punching their ticket and continuing to win by handling Ohio State at home. Oregon at home is going to be a problem. They're a problem at home.
Sabres begin a 3-game road trip Wednesday. They play in Pittsburgh. Buffalo got some help on let's face it, a bad night by Panthers backup goaltender Spencer Knight. Buffalo's first win of the season, 5-2 over the defending Cup champions. Head coach Lindy Ruff of Buffalo called the win a stress reliever.
Good. Yes, it is a stress reliever because you could kind of feel the frustration brewing with the way the season started with 3 straight losses. It's like, okay, here's more of the same. And, hey, you get over on the Panthers, but again, it's a Panthers team that didn't have their 3 best players on the ice. And if you want to be what we all want you to be, you're going to have to be competitive against these really good teams.
Danger, we had instances where people in prominent NFL positions responding to upset fans in the stands. You tell me, which is worse? In Philadelphia, the Eagles did not look good. That was an ugly win over Cleveland. Head coach Nick Sirianni with rabbit ears going over to the stands and dishing it back to the home crowd. Or was it by the tunnel at MetLife last night where Giants owner John Mara responding to a heckling fan by pointing at a ring on his finger?
I think both of these actions are kind of gross. You're in this role, this leadership role, whether you're talking about Sirianni's head coach, Mara's the owner. Be presidential, man. This isn't WWE wrestling. You're not doing a hype video. You don't have to trash talk. You got to know better. Your fans are going to chirp. They're going to chirp. You got to have your blinders on, and you got to know you have a job to do. I think Sirianni, there's talk of him. He needs to be gone. He needs to be gone. You can't do that. You can't do that. I don't think he's going to be gone because of what he did. I think ultimately he's going to be gone because he's just not a very good head football coach. But you got to know better than to mouth off at the fans.
So if the Jets did a move to kind of course correct their season. Not that usually, hey, we're going to get a new head coach. Why won't the Eagles do that now and elevate Vic Fangio? Vic Fangio has head coaching experience. He would kind of have more of this presidential feel to it. This is a team that, go back to last Thanksgiving, it just hasn't been right. We've seen it here and there.
Yeah. No, you were the head coach of one of the most epic collapses by a team in last season's Eagles. I mean, they were, what were they, 11-1, 11-2, something like that? I mean, they were rolling, and they absolutely folded down the stretch.
There's something else with Sirianni that I personally don't like. We're all in favor, right, of being good dads. That's important. Be a family man. But when you go to the post-game podium and you're bringing your kid, Ben Bolin said it best. It comes off as a human shield. You should not use your son, your 8-year-old, as a human shield sitting up with you.
Right.
Because you should be asking questions, tough questions, and asking Sirianni, hey, why did you feel the need actually to respond to a heckling fan base? But you got the kid there. So to me, that's bad form. It really is. You want to show the world you're a great dad? Then do it in a different way. I'm sorry.
I don't know that you even need to show the world that you're a great dad. You do it through your actions, and a lot of times those actions don't need to be documented. You leave your legacy and you show the world, I'm a good dad, right? I don't want to be judgmental, and I don't want to say that somebody's a better dad than another or somebody's not a good parent, because we don't know everybody's personal situation. But I do think that does set – I do think that's poor form. And I know people will say, oh, he's brought his kids up for every press conference. He always brings them up after the – you know what? I think there's a time and a place. To bring it back to Section 5 Sirianni. Well, Bobby Bates, McQuaid head coach, whenever they've won, he's got his son on his shoulders, and it's fantastic. It's a great scene. But they've won, and there's a trophy, and he gets the trophy, and it's in celebration.
It's also high school.
And it's but this is why I'm calling him Section 5 Sirianni's, by bringing his kids up to the podium after. Now, they won, but it wasn't the kind of win that I think Eagles fans are like, right. Oh, yeah, this is exactly what we needed.
To me, that shows a lack of self-awareness. You won because the Browns are completely inept. Their quarterback, what's the stat on Deshaun Watson? He's 0 for his last 25 on third down.
Did he get one yesterday?
Did he get one?
I think he might have gotten one yesterday. Yeah. He's bad. He's really bad.
He's awful.
It's a bad team. And today you have Kevin Stefanski on Zoom. It looks like a hostage video. I'm not even going to lie to you, Gene. I don't know if you saw it yet or not. It looks like he's being held, like he's got somebody feeding him lines from the other room. Tell everybody that you're in control. Do it. Tell everybody that you're in control.
We believe in Deshaun. He gives us the best chance to. Meanwhile, the guy in Indianapolis that you shipped off because you didn't want to upset your fan base, Joe Flacco wins on the road yesterday. Right. Granted, it's a bad Titan team.
I would also think that right now, Jameis Winston, this has got to be like a personal attack at this point. What do you mean he gives you the best chance? I'm over here. I'm ready to play. Let Jameis have his chance. Let's go. What are we doing? I guarantee you he's got the owner in his ear saying, no, you have to start Deshaun.
Of course.
You have to start. And Stefanski, from what we know of his history, is not just a good coach, but a good man, like a good guy who's stuck in this horrible situation, trying to make the best of it. And Watson just ain't it, man. He is not it. So congratulations, Sirianni. You got over on that team, and it was enough for you to pop off at your own fans and then have your kids up there while you're trying to answer questions. Oh, just not a great scene in Philadelphia today.
Not a great scene in Philadelphia, but they won. Jerry on his birthday in Dallas yesterday.
Is that the biggest home loss of his tenure as owner for the Cowboys? I thought I read somewhere.
The idea that not only did the Lions win, but in the second half, did you see this because of the play last year where the guy who reported eligible, the offensive lineman,
yes,
they actually put him at wide receiver, and this big fat guy ran a route. That's the biggest double. I mean, you have to.
Yes.
The idea that the Cowboys Twitter account, or maybe it was the stadium, blurring out the final score where they're bragging about the attendance.
Uh-huh.
It is just another step, my danger, in me enjoying some box wine. You should just prepay right now, just for your own sanity. When you see a box,
You think Belichick is
of
still
course
still going to Dallas, huh?
or he's going to go somewhere, Philadelphia.
Yeah.
It's going to be like this is going exactly according to plan.
You saw him the selfie with the Taylor Swift photo, the Taylor Swift T-shirt that he was wearing. That they're happy, man. They're in a good spot. He's not going to upset that. He's not going to upset that.
I'll say this. This is going back to when the Compeer Sports Luncheon was a thing. We had Bill Cowher on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And Coach, he was great. He gave a great speech. Had his new wife, or new girlfriend at the time. And he was just enjoying life. And it's like, why would he go back to that? Why did Jimmy Johnson not go back? I mean, you realize, hey, I can make money and not have to deal with unbelievable stress. Like, that is a stressful position, obviously, NFL head coach. But no, Bill Belichick, he's obsessed with the record. He will be back.
He's not going to get the record. Andy Reid's going to be getting the record before Bill Belichick will. We'll take a quick break here. We're taking you up to 4 o'clock, and Buffalo Bills pregame. That's on the way after we close up shop here in the sports bar. Before we do that, let's give away some free tickets. What do you say? Disturbed is coming to KeyBank Center Friday, April 4th, 2025. Tickets go on sale this Friday, 10 a.m., livenation.com. Win them before you can buy them, as they say. 866-4FAN, 585-866-4326. If you're caller 5, we'll get you a pair of tickets to see Disturbed with special guest Daughtry. That's KeyBank Center again, Friday, April 4th, 2025. Good luck from the Fan.
You're listening. there. 95.7 FM and AM 950. The Fan, Rochester.
Oh, I'm whooped. Oh.
God. The heavy lift.
Yeah, what? Like, wait, that's it?
Well, the good news is tomorrow we return at 3 o'clock. We'll have a reaction, good or bad, to tonight's game in the Meadowlands. Matt Perino covering the team for the Syracuse Post-Standard will be stopping by the sports bar and sharing his thoughts and his observations from tonight. We'll also hear tomorrow from Amherst head coach Mike Leone. He stops by the sports bar 425. Fantasy football waiver wire day tomorrow for Week 7. Michael F. Florio from NFL Network will join us as well. A jam-packed Tuesday afternoon in the sports bar coming up tomorrow.
Yeah, watching some of the pictures coming out there, it's a little windy there to the point where I'm wondering if Perino's hair would move.
Now, come on. What kind of a question is that? You actually have doubt. What is the stuff that he puts in his hair?
Cement. Cement,
it's
yeah.
called cement. It's called cement. He's
Oh,
going to be fine.
All right, I was exaggerating there a little bit. No, his hair would not.
No, of course not. Buffalo Bills Radio Network on the way next. We'll get you out to the Meadowlands later tonight. Kickoff just after 8 o'clock with Chris Brown, Eric Wood, Sal Capaccio, roaming the sidelines. Not wearing the red hat, roaming the sidelines. Not the independent neurologist.
No. Guys, Josh is cleared to go back in the game. I cleared him.
If you missed anything from today, you can go back and listen with Odyssey. Rewind the heavy lift, our predictions, and everything of the like. The free to download Odyssey app, AUDACY. Go back and listen to any part of the sports bar, any part of the Fan Rochester that you may have missed for the next 24 hours. We'll talk to you tomorrow, 3 o'clock. Enjoy tonight's game. And stand by for Bills pregame next on The Fan.